Okay, for this we want to figure out the economic growth rate. And the economic growth rate is really just the percentage change in real GDP. Okay, so the economic growth rate is going to be the percentage change, delta means change, in real GDP. Okay, so we're gonna do, we have our real GDP in 2013 is 6 billion. Our real GDP in 2014 is 6.5 billion. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the GDP in the new year minus the GDP in the older year. We're going to divide by GDP in the old year. We're going to multiply that by 100 to make it a percent. Okay, now since everything's in billions, we don't have to write all those zeros out. That would be a lot of zeros. So we're going to do 6.5 billion minus 6 billion divided by 6 billion. We're going to multiply that by 100 to make it a percent. So if we do 6.5 minus 6 and then divide that by 6, we're going to get 8.3%. So the economic growth rate, or the percentage change in real GDP, is 8.3%. Okay, so we also want to figure out what's going on with real GDP per person. Okay, so to calculate real GDP per person, we're just going to divide real GDP by population. Okay, how much are we producing, and then how many people do we have? So if we're going to do it, let's do it first for 2013. Our real GDP is 6 billion. And our population is 3 million. Okay, now a billion is 1,000 times a million. So this is not a percentage, so we're not going to try to do it as a percentage, but 6 billion divided by 3 billion would end up being 2,000. Now you may want to put all the zeros in when you do these calculations just so you don't mess up, because if you just did 6 divided by 3, you'd say the real GDP per person was 2, which is not correct. So in these you might, like I said, want to use all the numbers. Okay, so 2014, we're going to do 6.5 billion divided by 3.2 billion, million. Okay, we divide 6.5 billion by 3.2 million, we get 2,031.25. Okay, since real GDP per person is growing, we can say that this nation's standard of living is growing. When the real GDP per person increases, then there's more production per person, which says on average our standard of living has improved.